Hi everyone, welcome to Colouring with Kay and thank you for joining me today. So in this video I'm going to share my completed pages for February 2025. So I think I got 10 pages done and one long-standing whip which is probably going to take me most of the year, which is the Pictura pull-out book, the Monster Pie. So we'll get to that and then you'll see it. So Kitty says hello and let's get started. So this is where I wrote down, not that, all my pages. So I did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, according to this 5. Yeah, I had 5 untouched books, which is really good because the rate at which I'm buying books is not good. I don't know, I think I'm addicted. It's definitely an addiction, and I can't stop buying books. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem for me, and I need to slow it down. So yeah, 5 untouched books, and then the rest were books that I've previously coloured in. So let's have a look, and the first one I'm starting with excuse me, is Tiny Year. So remember, this is one of my focus books, and I'm hoping to colour the shelves page, the monthly shelves page each month. So I also want to hopefully, when it comes to December, also complete the front of this, which I really love because it's like a little summary of the entire year. But anyway, February, I thought I wasn't going to get this done. I was a bit worried, but I'm so glad that I did get it done. But yeah, this is the February page, and I really like it. Now, my husband commented that maybe you should have done a different, like a contrasting colour background, and I thought that a little bit, but I think it looks quite nice with you know, the similar colours of the actual objects and the background. I think it still looks quite nice, but I suppose it would stand out more if there was an opposing colour for the background compared to the objects. But yeah, for March I think I'm going to do an opposing colour palette, because I think for January I did a similar colour palette to the objects using blues and greens and things, and I did the same for February, but I quite like it. I did use pan pastel in the back again, and then I used my I actually need this out, don't I, because I did write down most of the things that I used, which is really good. I used the pan pastels, and then I used the Pebeo matte gel medium. So the Pebeo matte gel medium, so that the pan pastel doesn't come off. I know I could have sprayed it, but I don't know, I just don't get on very well with the, you know, the pastel sprays, because I don't know, I just don't do it right, and then the page gets really wet, and then I don't want things to run and be ruined. So for me this is a better method. I use lots of different mediums on here. The pencils, I've got to say, I have a few Colouring Heavens, and I don't colour in them much until I got this book, and pencils work really nice on this paper, even though it's quite thin. The pencils work really well, so I love using my Chroma Flows on here. I think they work really well. I used the Woomer pencils, the Ohuhu pencils, and they work really nicely. I didn't like my Prismas on here that much, and my Polys, I wasn't too keen on them. They were all right, they were okay, but not as good as the other pencils that I mentioned, which I felt worked very well for me. But it's quite subjective what you like on the paper. I used various acrylic paint pens, Pentel Gel Metallic Hybrids in places. I used my Spectrum Noir flip markers, which I recently discovered in one of my pencil cases, which I haven't been using, and I thought these are gorgeous, they're too good to not use. The Art Spirits paints, Unicorn paint, Staedtler fine liners, Sakura black glaze pens, the Uniball silver gel pen. Super Golden markers, white Posca, and the gorgeous Languo gel pens as well. Unfortunately, I didn't think, and I used the Staedtler black fine liner here, and then when I used the Pebeo matte medium, it sort of made it smudge. So I should have used something that was water resistant, like the Pit pen, and that would have not happened. But yeah, it's not that noticeable, but it is what it is. I really like how I've put metallic paint as well on the February. I hope you can see that, really nice and shiny. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it, and I really enjoy my coloured pencil colouring now as well, because I didn't always used to, but it's a slow medium, but you get really nice results with it. So that's that one. And hopefully for next month I'm going to do the March, so I want to keep it up all year. So the next one I'm going to show you, let's get this out of the way, because it's really not one of my favourites, unfortunately. I don't know what it is. I think it's not my favourite. I don't know. I don't know what it is, actually. I think it's, I don't know, the colour combination I used isn't great. But yeah, I'm not too keen on this one. I don't think it's come out that well. It's definitely, when I look at it, my heart sinks a little bit. I do like the flowers and the leaves and things down here, but I don't know, I didn't do my best job with the buildings. So definitely my least favourite of this month. I used alcohol markers, Ohuhu ones, Artex pencils, Bic Intensity markers, those are the Bic Intensity alcohol fine liners, gel pens, glaze pens, Thule Art acrylic pens, Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, Sakura gel pens, and the Supracolor watercolour, Supracolor watercolour pencils, just for shading in this background. Yeah, I think it could have been a lot better, but it is what it is. It's okay, but definitely not one of my favourites. So let's get that one out the way. And then I managed to work in Love Monsters. I've been wanting to work in this for quite a while now, and I finally got to it, and I decided to do the page that I was always going to do first, which was the lab page. So this is it. Now again, I made a little bit of a mistake here. The background I made too similar to the initially it was too similar to the colours I was going to use on this cupboard and the shelves and the table. And then what I did is I got some gel crayons and I went over the alcohol marker just to make it a slightly different colour, so that it would be a little bit more distinctive. And then I wanted to also jazz it up a little bit, so I decided to put some confetti here. So I used the Ohuhu alcohol markers, metallic paint, iridescent paints, acrylic pens. The confetti is here, and I stuck that on with the it's called a Quickie glue pen, which I cannot find at the moment. Can I see it on my desk? Oh, there it is. There we go. Ow, hurt myself then with a pencil lead, which was extra sharp. Anyway, that is the Quickie glue pen, and you can get it from Amazon. You can get it in a pack of 3, actually, I think. So it's quite effective actually to stick on confetti. So that's that. And yeah, so what else was there? Glazed pen, white acrylic pen, Arteza pencils, and the Holbein pencils as well. So yeah, it's all right. And the iridescent paints and the metallic paints I used in places in these test tubes and things, just to give it a little bit, I don't know if you can see, a little bit of a shine in the test tubes. And in the flasks here I used a little bit of the iridescent paints, don't know if you can tell. But it's always fun working in these little books because they're just so fun. I know that is wrong because the light actually comes up from the bottom bit, the condenser, but I just did it like that because I thought it looked fun, and you know, it's quite fantastical, isn't it? Because you've got monsters in a lab, so I sort of made that up. But yeah, I am fairly pleased with that. So that's my first one at least done in this book. So that's Love Monsters. And then next we have, I'm just thinking, I'm just making sure that the light is okay. Okay, so the next one is a page in Fluffy Times. Now I did scan this and print it out because I preferred to work on the Nina cardstock. So this is the Nina cardstock, and then I cut it out from the A4 size of the paper. So this is in this book. There it is, that one. And blending is just so much better on the Nina cardstock. It's the one which says 199 GSM, I think. So I used, again, what did I use? I used Ohuhu and other alcohol markers, acrylic paint pens, Spectrum Now Sparkle pens, Super Golden markers, Art Spirits pastel paints, which are here on this little flag thing, or bunting, and white acrylic pen, Sakura Black Jelly Roll Glaze, unicorn paints, which is from Etsy. The unicorn paints are by Lizzie's Studio Watercolour Studio, sorry. Sparks Aquarelle paints. So this bit here that you can see sparkly, and this bit is basically the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. And I used the red glazed pen on the love hearts. And I've been watching, you know, some Instagram reels on a couple of people who do lots of alcohol marker techniques. I think one of them's Colour Vibes, and I've been trying to learn how to do that. So I've been really enjoying doing that because I want to really improve my alcohol marker techniques this year. And I'm really enjoying, excuse me, I'm really enjoying using my alcohol markers really a lot. And so, yeah. So there's the black Jelly Roll Glaze, there's the unicorn paints on this moon. And yeah, I quite like it. You can see pretty much all of it is alcohol marker with some metallic paints in places. So that's that one. And then next I have another one, which is another focus book for this year. And I've decided for my focus books, I don't have to colour in them every month. They're a focus book, so I need to make sure that I colour in them more. Like, you know, I always look at them first. That's if I want to colour them, because I don't want to force myself to colour something I don't want to in a particular month. But this is definitely one of my favourites, and it doesn't really take too long to colour. So the one I did, but I printed it out again on and this time on a watercolour paper. So I am going to film the papers that I use for printing and my printer soon, hopefully. I've just not got around to it. But this is the one that I did, and I used, let's see, what did I use? Yeah, Pretty Excellent watercolours. So I actually used the actual watercolours for it rather than watercolour mediums and pencils or things like that. Albert Dürer watercolour pencils on top of the Pretty Excellent watercolours. Staedtler fine liners, glazed pens, Graby white acrylic pen, Cosmic Shimmer, which is this frosty sparkle that you can see here. Had to add a bit of sparkle. I hope you can see the Cosmic paste there. So that's called Frosty Sparkle. It's definitely one of my favourite ones. Silver gel pen and Art Spirits Iridescent Violet, which I used on the going over the top of this igloo, and I thought that goes really well with the sky that I've done. I really like the watercolour sky, and I wanted it to show a little bit as an iridescent in the iridescent paint that I put over the igloo. So this was definitely a real fun one to do. I really liked it. Like I said, it doesn't take that long, and you know, you get pretty good results. So that is that one from my tiny forest colouring book by Nina Stachner. And then we have a long-standing whip, which is obviously going to be a long-standing whip because it is a book that folds out. It is called Alexei Bitskov Monster Party by Pictura. You can get it off Amazon UK. The last time I checked it was about just under £5, which is a great price. So I finished the 2 panels here. I decided to use neon gel pens for these mushrooms in the background. I think the mushrooms. And then I used iridescent paint for the clouds as well, but coloured pastel shade pencils underneath. And then I started on the next 2 panels, which is, oops, go across like this. So I started on these 2 panels, which I haven't finished, as you can see, but I was doing more blending with my alcohol markers. I will probably use a little bit of pencil on top as well. I've got a lot to do on this one. And yeah, I'm really enjoying colouring this. Honest, it is so much fun. And you know, once I finish this, and I do intend to finish it, I'm going to start another one because they are really fun to do, and it's so nice seeing a long-term project sort of, what's the word, coming to fruition. But yeah, it's such a fun one to do. So yeah, that's my long-standing whip. So I have made some progress. I have started the 2 there, and I finished this one off, and the first 2 panels off. And then you come to this bit here, which I think I'm going to do in a different colour, because look, this is like a sky. I might not use alcohol marker for the sky here. I might actually use neo colours or watercolour pencils, just so that I can get the shading right, because I'm not sure I can get the shading right if I use alcohol markers for this background. But we'll see, because I always change my mind. So that's Monster Party by Alexei Bitskov. And then I did a page in this one, which is A Small World of Colours. It's a new one, I think, by Angela Gonzalez. Absolutely gorgeous, cute book. And this didn't take long, but I'm so pleased with the result. I love the colours I've used, using pan pastel in the background. On top of it, I used Deco Art Craft Twinkles paint. Well, it's a lot, sort of a glitter paint. So pan pastel underneath, then Deco Art Craft Twinkles. Then I also used the Folk Art Glitterific Icons Hearts. Can you see here these? Now, I bought these quite a while ago, but they're on my desk actually. They're so gloopy. Like, it's such a, like, you can see it doesn't even move in the thing, in the container, because it's so gloopy. So I had to sort of scoop them out with one of those, like with a stick. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, with something, and which I can't remember the name of. That's the Deco Art Craft Twinkles, which I put on top of the pan pastel, which is good because it fixes the pan pastel and it gives a nice glitter as well, sheen that you can see in the background. And then what else did I use? I used, of course, Albert Dürer. No, not sorry, wrong one. Stencil. Where did I use a stencil? What stencil did I use? I don't even know. Oh yes, I use a stencil for the circles in the background. Bruckfuna macaron pencils I used, which I really like. Uniball silver, white acrylic pen, Ohuhu alcohol markers, black glazed pen, fine liners, Faber-Castell Pitt fine liner, opal watercolours, super golden markers, and Thule Art acrylic pens. So yeah, I think the clouds are the opal watercolours. But it's such a simple image, but I really like, and that was definitely like a Valentine image. So, I mean, the hearts are lovely, but you can see a little bit of the gluey mess. But I probably still use them on pictures, so quite pleased with that one. Give you a close-up. So I really like Angela Gonzalez's work. I think it's beautiful. I like her style. Okay, so the next one, I'm talking too much because I feel like I've got another 4 left, including this one. So this one is Townscapes 1. I don't think that's the actual name, but that's what I call it. And so you'll see some of this in my, if you've watched my colouring snippets for February. So this one is another focus book for the year. And I did this. Now this is a very steampunk image and I wanted to have a vintage feel. So the background is Distress Oxides. There's also washi tape here, which I show you how I apply it and what I did with it in my colouring snippets for February video. So check that out if you're interested. I used the Distress crayons as well. I used stamps and ink pads, washi stickers. Then I used Derwent Lightfest pencils, Langua gel pens, Super Golden markers, Sparks aquarelle paints, the Art Spirits gold and bronze paints, and the Polychromos pencils. So yeah, I am quite happy with how this came out. I like the bronze and the gold and the blues and the greens that I've used. I also sort of did this little cracking image to give it, I don't know, some sort of vintage old look, which my husband found was quite impressed with. He really liked it. So I don't know why I did that, but I just did because I thought it would go with the page. But yeah, that is definitely one of my favourites for the month. I really like it. Because there's a bigger background, I think you can do things like add washi tapes and stamps. So even if you can't draw, like I can't draw, I mean I try, but it just comes out and it comes out wrong, and then it will make the picture, the image, the colouring page look horrid, and I don't want that. So I think I will, when there's a lot of space on pages, like in, for example, Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds, I think I'll use washi tape, stamps and Distress crayons and oxides and things like that. So that's that one, which is one that I like. And then in Wild Winter, I think I'm working on this in one of my February snippets video as well. So I think one of you guys asked if I could show how I use the how I apply my metallic paints using fine paint brushes. So I think I show that in there. So if you're interested, check it out. And the page I did or was working on and I've completed is this one. I really like this. This is in Wild Winter by Joseph Kattenbang. And I do really like this. It's such a lovely image. The image itself is gorgeous. So, you know, I'm really happy with how it came out. What did I use? I used the Opal Watercolours, Polychromos, Brookfuna Pastel Macaron, Super Colour Watercolour Pencils, Pentel Gel Metallic Hybrid, Gel Pens, Langua Gel Pens, Truly Art Acrylic White, various metallic paints, Derwent Graphite Tint Pencils, and the Staedtler Fine Liners as well. So you can tell I use similar sort of things on each page. This is like Langua Gel Pens there because there's such tiny details on the snowflakes that the Langua Gel Pens, because they're so fine nibbed, work really well. It was a bit difficult to see what's what when I was colouring this bit, and there was also some of them hidden objects which I wasn't too happy about, but I mean I just coloured them or covered them up if it was easy to cover them up. I think I could have gone darker here on the edges, which would have made it look a little bit better, but I'm going to call it finished because I spend quite a long time on these pages doing all the fine details, you know, like the fine liners, the gel pen, the acrylic pen to get rid of the lines and all sorts. So I could stay on a page for forever, really. So I have to call it done at some point. And then Dream Voyage was another one that I was working on in that snippets video for February. And thank you to the publisher for sending me this gorgeous book. So this is by Lom Art, and the page I completed is this one. I did put it on a reel on Instagram, but yeah, I did this one. It did take a while because of course it's so detailed, but I like detail. So I used alcohol marker base for the background. I like it. I do like it, but I think some of my shading could be a bit better. Maybe I should have used darker colours in places. I don't think I went in again. Again, it was the idea of, oh, I'm going to call it finished because I've spent so long on this page and I wanted to get onto something else. I will colour in this book again, but I don't think I'll do that in March. Possibly in April or even May, because I do like a few pages in here I'm quite keen on. There are a few pages that I'm not as keen on, but there's plenty in here that I could colour. But yeah, I really like this one, for instance, as well. So there's quite a few, like this one's a cover image which I really like. But yeah, I did use a lot of different things on here. What did I use? We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly finished. So on here I use King Art gel sticks, which is basically over the alcohol marker for the background. Supercolour watercolour pencils, Polychromos, Castle Art Harmonious pencils, Pictura acrylic markers, various gel pens, fine liners, Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, Uniball metallic gel pens, the Art Spirits fragment set, Renaissance Colours Countdown to Christmas, black glaze pens and Lango gel pens. So quite a lot of different mediums on there as usual. So I like how I've done these little birds and how they come up from there. I mean, she's very talented, is Mel Tomini. And then my last one has to be my favourite of the month. It's the Whip from last month, and I knew I had to finish it. Let's just come out a little bit. And it's the Swan, and it's my favourite of the month. So it's last. Keep the last one. Keep the favourite till the last. So this is the Swan, and I used this book, by the way, you can get from Amazon Japan. I think it's still available. I can't find it on Etsy, but Amazon Japan has it, and I'll show you the ISBN in a minute. I used Albert Dürer watercolour pencils, Harmonious pencils, Polychromos, Brut Funa macarons, Spectrum Noir colour tint, Derwent Graphitint, Staedtler watercolour tint pencils, Pablo's Tulia acrylic markers, Uniball silver gel pen, Art Spirits mirror dust. The mirror dust is on the water here, so I had to use the, Derwent Graphitint and all my muted pencils, watercolour pencils first, and then I put that sparkle on top because I didn't want any real bright colours apart from, well, there aren't really any bright colours except on the crystals, I would say, where I did use some neons because I wanted them to stand out and look quite a contrast to everything else. What else? Posca glaze, Language gel pens, black Posca, Coliro Black Forest paint, and the black Coliro Black Forest paint is a gorgeous paint. It's like sort of a dark greeny black, and I've used that before for background, so I had to replace it because it's gorgeous. And I think the contrast of the white swan with these little sort of colours here goes really well with the background, and I really like how I've done the water, sparkliness in the water. And then I used black Posca for these sort of strange plants, and then the eggs here that you've got, and then I really liked it. This is definitely my favourite for the month, and I will work in this book again. It is beautiful. Look at that. It's one of those books that's a serious book, that you have to take your time with and sort of do it as your best work. So glad I bought this book. It's quite an old book, but yeah, let me show you the ISBN. So there it is. And if you type that in to Amazon Japan in the search engine, it does come up, because I did try it, and the book does come up. But beautiful book. And that's it, guys. Those are all my completed pages. Let me know which was your favourite. And until next time, take care. Happy colouring. Bye.